Jackie Arison. He was third at this meet last year. Ari Fisher is out, so there are 15 runners total.
The question is with Arison, one of the nice questions if you're her mom and dad, has she won more honors on the track than she has academically? It's been that good a run. ESPN Academic All-American for Arison, as Phoebe Wright was last year from Tennessee as well. Now a professional runner.
Krasinski actually is not in this race. She was here earlier in the week, hurting Oregon's chances even further. So you get the Krasinski withdrawal. You've got the racer not making it in the 800. You've got Purvis not making it in the 200. All of a sudden, the big race, the big lead that looked like it was almost insurmountable, suddenly starts to get a little.
We have a race here, eh? Now this is turning into a very tactical, slow race. Welcome to collegiate championships when you've got to run more than one race or two or even three races in 24 hours. This is very slow and tactical. This is like everybody going out for a 10-mile jog here right now. Wait till we see what the first lap time is here, the first 400-meter time. And that is Liz Costello on the inside, who herself is a very interesting story from Tennessee. She should be in the hunt late in the race. The young lady has graduated from Princeton University, had some eligibility left, came down here to compete, I say down here, came down south to Knoxville, Tennessee to run for J.J. Clark with a year of eligibility left, and was a chemical engineering major at Princeton, taking graduate courses now. This is amazing. 1 minute, 25 seconds.
85-second opening 400 in the women's 5,000.
5 minutes and 40-second pace.
Somebody called Kim Smith and let her know her meet record is safe in jeopardy.
Very true. Not this year. No chance.
And let's face it, in the final analysis, it's the titles, it's the championships.
Right.
It's not the time. The times will always come.
And it makes for a more interesting tactical race. As the race gets on, you know, it just becomes much more interesting after, you know, they get through this early slog here that everybody's going through.
Well, you can take a look and see what their estimated time is at the pace that they're running.
Very interesting. We haven't seen that before. Now, I'm surprised that the difference changed. It was 18-something for Risbrook Tamayo back, but NK time.
They're starting to stretch it out a little bit. Of course, what I always worry about when they run that slow is it gets so bunched up and somebody steps on somebody else, who steps on somebody else, who falls. And in a championship, that's such a shame because they work so hard to get here. And when running 5,000 meters, you don't get that many opportunities to run it. 800
meters. Passed in 2:49, so they barely picked up the pace. Gee whiz, this is about as slow as I can ever remember watching a race out there go. Jackie Arison has taken over in the dark socks. She wears the high socks up there. And now life has gotten much more honest in this race. And Holly Van Dalen, one of the twins from Stony Brook, both juniors, has just joined up in the front. She's gotten under 16 minutes for 5,000 meters. And everybody's starting to move. Liz Costello there, a very accomplished runner at 5,000 meters. Tennessee hoping for big points in this event.
Jackie Arison maybe not really wanting to lead all that much, but certainly has done a good job of picking up the pace ever so slightly, and just as I say that, she seems to back off a little bit more. Of course, this will make for a very interesting last 800 meters.
Yeah, oh, no question. That's what I was mentioning. You know, it could look good, and the question is, can Van Dalen stay with a strong pace and ability of Arison, who ran on a relay leg at the SEC, a 4:35, 1,600-meter leg on that DMR. And she's got wheels, and she can move, and she's faster than Liz Costello, her teammate, who works better off a solid pace. Does Liz, and I mean, you know, we really haven't picked up too much here. We'll keep an eye and let you know what the 1,600-meter time is for all of these athletes. But to give you an idea, they have averaged earlier this year, Van Dalen has, and Jackie Arison is even faster. Van Dalen's averaged 5:07 a mile for 3.1 miles, and Arison's 15:39 fastest time here in the competition. When you do the math, works out to a 5:01 mile. So, you know, the speed is there. It's probably 5:02 maybe for Aronson, and that's why you heard Dwight and I kind of say, wow, 5 minutes and 40-second pace for 1,600 meters is quite marginal here. When they come by again, they will have passed 1,600 meters in the race and have a little over 2 miles to go in this race at 5K.
It's going to be barely under 5:25 at this particular pace, so they really are not doing anything different than what they were doing earlier on.
But the confidence is with Aronson to feel I can outkick any of you. They're 5:25 for the first 1,600 meters. So add 2 seconds at that pace, and you're at a 5:27 first mile. Easy for them.
So nobody going into any oxygen depth early in this 5,000 as Jackie Harrison continues to lead it. Holly Bendalen is Costello there on the rail in about 5th.
Rispa Kamayo wearing the UTEP uniform is an interesting story. Right behind Bendalen in 4th place. She was very lightly trained in E10. She grew up very close to St. Patrick's High School, the famous high school in E10, just outside of Eldoret. And who picks up the phone and places a call to Paul Ehring, the coach over in UTEP, who handles all the distance runners, but his former high school coach, Brother Colin O'Connell, and saying, this woman, I think, has enormous talent. She's hardly trained much at all. She's run a 5:09 mile at altitude, but you should definitely consider her. I see lots of promise in her. And here she is at the NCAA championships just a couple of years later, backing up that ability that he felt that she had.
Paul Ehring, of course, the cricket champion, 800-meter runner from Kenya and the University of Virginia. 1988 Seoul Olympic 800-meter champion.
Holds the national collegiate record indoors at 144.
Which is a world record at the time.
Yep, so 144.40, I believe, off the top of my head.
Breaking a Sebastian Coe indoor world record at the time. The barred singlet was not sent there by the Kenyan Federation, as I recall.
You can single out mistakes made by the Kenyan Federation, can't run. Actually, 144.84 was his official split, looking it up back in 1989 in Budapest.
14 laps remaining. Jackie Harrison continuing to lead. And Holly Bendalen, only too happy to stay right there on her shoulder. Costello continuing to stay on the rail. Making sure she has some room to maneuver.
Seven runners, Dwight, have run between like 16 minutes and 16:06 that are in this field, and they do have 9 of those athletes you're looking at have broken 16 minutes for 5,000 meters on the track indoors this season.
Julia Moak of Wichita State is tucked in 3rd place. Betsy Sena, Iowa State, and Kenya 4th, and then Liz Costello 5th.
Tennessee athletes and Jackie Aronson, the senior from Tennessee, and Liz Costello, also a fellow senior. Those two women have the 2 fastest times of all these 5,000-meter runners in the race.
So Alfina Julia Moak of Wichita State taking over the leading duties. I'm sure Jackie Harrison happy to let her do so.
Different arm action for Julia Moak. Look at that left arm carried very high and not showing much movement from the standpoint of it's better usually right around your waist, swinging back and forth like a pendulum. But, you know, coaches are chary to change those things because it's work for athletes. And that's maybe she did that, you know, I think that is a Kenyan name, I'm not sure exactly, but nonetheless, maybe she get used to carrying books. I've had athletes tell me that I tend to keep my arm tucked in because I had to hold on to my books I used to run when I was going to school. Not all the Kenyans and runners do that, some do, based on the distance they live from school.
Sara Kipyego, who won a few NCAA titles in her day, had some interesting arm carries early in her career, changed a little bit of that. As we now see
Betsy Sena.
Betsy Sena move into the lead. Two Tennessee athletes, Harrison and Costello, back in third and fifth or sixth.
Sena is the Big Ten champion. Excuse me, the Big 12 champion is Sena from Iowa State.
Just under 10 laps remaining now in this 5,000. Very, very slowly. They pick the pace up ever so slightly now, but boy, this should be a barn burn over the last 3 or 4 laps. Certainly plenty of women in this race capable of kicking it in from about 600 meters out with some decent speed.
Harrison content to let the other 2 athletes take the lead. Ran a 4:49 mile in high school at down in Delray Beach, Florida. And this is completing her eligibility. This is her last race for Tennessee in the colors of the Volunteers. She will no doubt turn pro. She is that good. I have talked with one agent from one shoe company who's taking a look at her, knowing that her season is up now. And she certainly will, I think, be approached by at least one, if not more, shoe companies because the talent is there. At 15 minutes and 39 seconds, among other things. And a 4:35, 1,600 meter time.
Now we got some movement off into the look. Betsy Sena, Holly Dolan, Jackie Harrison, as they start to punch up a little bit more. You can tell that they feel it's time to start breaking things out a bit, pushing the pace slightly. Holly Van Dalen getting a little caught up there. Trying to make certain they all have plenty of running room, which when the pace is this slow and they're this bunched up, it's very, very difficult to get your own controlled space. Jackie Harrison there on the rail. Liz Costello also on the inside. At this point, it's not all that important, but when the move is made, you don't want to be tripping over yourself or someone else to get into a position where you can do the running you need to do. 7 laps remaining. Betsy Sena back in the lead.
We'll keep track of the last 1,600 meters of this race. With 8 to go, they were 11-12. And we'll see if they, it depends when they start to pick things up here a bit, but see how close they come to 5 minutes here for their last 1,600 meters of this event.
Betsy Sena, Alfie Tilliamuk. Now they're starting to go 3 abreast until they really want to start to run with 6 laps remaining. 1,200 meters to go. There's got to be a lot of run left in these women. Remaining in the women's 5,000 meters. That's Betsy Sena of Iowa State and Kenya leading what has been a very slow-paced 5,000 from the beginning. You can see how bunched up all these athletes are as they start to position themselves to make a run. Alfie Tilliamuk of Wichita State and Sena have been trading back and forth the lead over the last several laps. Holly Van Dalen is right there also, along with Jackie Harrison and Liz Costello of Tennessee, but you'll see how many women are in contention and with plenty of run left in them as they come by with just 800 meters remaining, 4 laps to go.
Dwight, this 3.1-mile race has turned, there's 4 laps to go right now, and this 3.1-mile race has been turned into basically an 800-meter race. 5:27 for the first mile, and the opening few laps were even slower on a pace basis than that, and it really hasn't picked up dramatically since then. It was 11 minutes and 12 seconds with 8 laps to go, 1,600 meters. Jackie Harrison now asserting herself. As we suspected, the favorite in the race just sat there and said, I've got speed, what can you do to take it out of me here? Well, they couldn't do anything and nobody tried. Harrison making her move now, and she is definitely putting the medal down here, and people are not going with her.
Jackie Harrison, who actually led early on for 4 or 5 laps and then let Betsy Sena and Alfie Tilly will take over that lead. Has now gapped the field nicely. They don't seem to have a response. Holly Van Dalen is now being dropped. And it's certainly not because the pace was so quick. May just be past the peak. So it's Arison followed by Betsy Sena. Now Anna Nasenko of Wake Forest has gotten into the mix. 2 laps remaining, just 400 meters to go, and Arison probably has a 20 to 25 meter lead. And Anna Nasenko now drops into second, followed by Betsy Sena. And Liz Costello of Tennessee trying to get some extra points for the Volunteers, currently in 4th. But it's all Arison. And I don't see a move being made at this point by Anna Nasenko to close that gap.
Watch Costello, usually tough over the last lap or two. She's now back up into 3rd at this point. Arison, it's all Arison, Jackie Arison, the 2-time All-American and a 5-time SEC champion, just torching the track here over the last 800 meters.
No one has a response for Arison. She's going to win it. The race is going to be for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Anna Nasenko now being passed by Mia Bam of Texas. And Arison finishing strong. Bam, then Sena. Nasenko now dropping. Liz Costello trying to pick up an extra couple of points. Arison wins it, not breaking 16 minutes. Bim will be 2nd, Sena 3rd, Nasenko 4th, and Liz Costello manages to come up for 5th.
A 68-second last 400 meters for Jackie Arison, as she picked it up even before then, but a very strong last 800 meters for this 5-time Southeast Conference champion and 2-time All-American.
So 14 points for the Lady Volunteers with Jackie Arison's impressive victory off that incredibly slow pace. She did pace the race for a little while from laps 3 to about laps 8. But she had a lot of run left in her. And we knew it would be interesting over the last 800 meters, but she didn't make it as interesting as it could have been, running away with it with 4 laps remaining.
Class of the field easily. Nobody had a time close to hers. The second fastest time was 9 seconds slower. But this is her making her move on the rest of the field. And she was well clear of everybody very quickly. And it was well into the last mile that she began to pick things up. And it was all Jackie Arison. She knew with her mile speed that no one could match her. Just a question of when she wanted to go.
And she's downstairs with Lewis Johnson.